Hey guys, Nanik here. I am back with an episode just to update on health journey and what have I found. And last year was such an important and amazing year to understand what the heck is going on with health. And I understood a lot more than just my health, I think. Worth always saying that I'm not a doctor. So if you're listening to this, I'm not a doctor, but I'm also not going to say seek medical advice if you have issues, because the medical industry is utter shit. Pardon my French. So doctors for the last 4 decades have been trained to sell pharmaceuticals, which is not news, I think, for most people. However, I really thought that there would be more people who know this among doctors and go against the grain, or at least be more helpful. But honestly, good 80% of them are zombies. No, good luck finding the other 10 or 20% who maybe have a brain that they're using and not just selling the drugs. So that's why I'm not going to say seek medical advice. I would say take your health in your hands. Take the matter in your hands, study, learn, read. There's so much information out there. The simplest things that could be cured like this go unnoticed for decades while declining people's health because the system needs a returning customer. The system is not interested in curing you with a cure and then you're done and you go live your merry life, because they need a returning customer to keep feeding their pockets. And if you're among the people who right now is turned off because you think this is conspiratorial, you're probably in the wrong channel. This is not conspiracy. This is just common sense, okay? This is what's happening with the big pharma owning just about everything in this world. When I say in this world, I'm talking about the medical world, in the world too. But when you look back, the amount of poisons that has been introduced into our food and who's behind it, it just all goes into the same pockets. So just do some research if you're among those who are super skeptical right now. Skepticism is good. Just use it the right way that benefits you, okay? Anyway, this summer, I went to Armenia and I stayed there for about 3 to 4 months. In the United States, if you've seen any of my last videos, my health has been a struggle. I can't seem to digest any food. One little mistake and I'm thrown off by months and months. And then if I go grow my own food and just diligently never touch anything else, I get better. And then the second I consume the wrong thing, which... And when I say the wrong thing, I eat extremely clean. I'm not talking about, I couldn't help myself and I ate a Cheeto. No, I'm talking about eating as organic as possible in the United States, which is fairly impossible. There's no real food here unless you're growing it yourself, I swear. Red meat was becoming really difficult for me to eat, and that has so many vitamins that I absolutely want in my system that it was becoming a problem. Not to mention I was trying to train to grow muscle, and you need beef. I know some people will disagree. I'm completely anti-veganism. One thing I'm realizing, it's best to respect the human biology at its natural state and how it was, and we haven't evolved much past that. We are the same monkeys as we were pretty much 10,000 years ago as we are today. So it's good to look back sometimes and see how those people lived their lives for optimal health. Obviously, we can't confidently say what kind of health, but we also know that just about the most threatening thing was due to bacteria and infection, right? So this is where I'll say antibiotics are the biggest human intervention. This is when true invention took place. I'm trying to think, has medicine really, when it comes to pills, drugs, produced anything remotely close to antibiotics? No, we haven't. It seems as though we invented antibiotics, the quality of life and longevity just skyrocketed because now we no longer have to die from simple bacteria. Then what happened is we completely forgot about that. Big Pharma jumped on a wagon of producing pill after pill after pill, unnecessary pills, just basically, things that might numb you or kill your brain cells slowly or just chronically put you on pills that does nothing. Basically nothing that cures. Antibiotics cure. The question is, why aren't we using antibiotics more to cure more things? Why all of a sudden we have these hosts of autoimmune diseases that are unknown cause? Why is the language being used that your body is attacking itself? What does that exactly mean? Your body is attacking itself. Could it be a bacteria that just needs an antibiotic? Could it be something extremely simple like that? So that's what I discovered in Armenia. In Armenia, I was able to go into a lab and absolutely test myself for everything and anything I thought I may have. I went to a doctor first. Thought I'll start with a doctor because I didn't know what I can do alone. And it was quite hilarious. The doctor was a complete moron. He said, I don't have any digestive issues. It's all in my head. I'm basically mentally ill. And I said, okay, well, good thing. I don't care about your opinion. So how about we do endoscopy, colonoscopy, and test for H. pylori. We test for celiac disease. We test for IBD, as well as CAT scan and X-rays, blood work, so on. He just looked at me and he was like, why would you want to spend all that money? And by all that money, to give you an understanding of all that money, try to imagine what that would cost in the US. And of course, regardless whether you would be paying that out of pocket or you would not be paying that out of pocket. It would be an enormous amount of money. With all that, you would probably pass 100,000 in US. In Armenia, I paid less than $800 for all that. So just to give you a perspective, it's better to fly to a third world country, get all your medical needs met, and then come back. It will be cheaper, and you will be you will actually see progress. Anyway, we did all the testing, and I had insanely active H. pylori. By now, I studied just about everything I could find on H. pylori, which just connected all the, any question I had in my brain just got answered, because H. pylori loves a low stomach environment. It gobbles your stomach acid and just drops it. That's why a lot of people have heartburn and acid reflux with H. pylori, whereas I didn't have any of those classical symptoms. So if you're someone who doesn't have the classical symptoms and your doctor doesn't test you for H. pylori, which is an extremely common bacteria, this is such a common bacteria in humans that likelihood that you will at some point in your life get this bacteria overgrown is, it's really high. Thanks to all the fasting I've done, I didn't have stomach ulcers, and I had not ruined my stomach or was not close to causing any cancers, thank goodness. And with active H. pylori, that's not where it ends, okay? If your H. pylori has gone so undetected for so many years, the chances of that has damaged something else is high. So that I'll get to that on the second part of the video. What I did is I took the course of antibiotics for the 10 days and killed the H. pylori. Some people, go, I think, overboard with it needs to be all this organic and health ways, or it needs to be drugs. I think a good balance is needed for optimal health because, again, as I said earlier, antibiotics have been the most significant intervention for longevity. It is extremely, extremely helpful, useful, effective, and there's no need. Just because the big pharma has messed up the medical system, that doesn't mean now you have to just completely go overboard and reject all medicine, because there's good medicine, and there is, pills that you will just take for the rest of your life and decline until you die. There are a lot of videos that help you to cure your H. pylori in an organic way. And I do think a lot of those videos are very on point, because that's exactly how I was being able to go into health. But then the second some preservative or poison chemical was hitting my system, it would just go right back to crap. I would say if you're in the West, with the foods we have, which are highly lab made and coated with insane amount of chemicals, I think your battle with H. pylori in an organic way will be defeating. That's my opinion. I'm saying this after being more disciplined than I've ever seen anyone be with food. I mean, I would never eat out, and I would grow majority of my food. And even then, I would somehow, somewhere, you have to still purchase some things from a store, regardless how careful you're being. And all of a sudden, your hard work of months could just come right back, and H. pylori would pick its head again and just gobble your stomach acid, and you're back to zero in no time. So, long-winded way of saying, I would not shy away from antibiotics, because they are helpful and they have a purpose, and that's just about the only drug that has a good purpose. So use that and get back to your health. However, second part of the video is getting back to your health might not be as easy as the H. pylori being killed, right? Let's say. And of course, there's hosts of bacteria that could be active, overactive, underactive in your stomach. So I'm not saying that one size fits all. So if you have some kind of autoimmune, I'm not saying automatically you probably have H. pylori, but I will say you probably should test for H. pylori just to overrule it. Is that what the term is? Just to cross it out of the possibilities, because of how common this bacteria is. So, and there's a host of bacteria you can test for to see which one you have. But I would say one thing confidently: if your doctor tells you that you have a autoimmune disease, that autoimmune thing is not a thing. That is a language for you're going to be on drugs for the rest of your life, and we are not interested in curing you. Again, not the doctor, because the doctor has just been studied whatever has been taught, he or she been taught in the system. So it's not that they just don't know. Okay, they just don't know. If you hear those words, it's chronic, we don't know, we can experiment this, let's try this drug, we don't know what it is, your body is attacking itself. No, there's no such thing. Every problem has a solution. It's whether you want to find that solution or not. In this case, I did find how to fix my health, which I have one more step left to do for, I think, 100% health, because right now I'm about 85, good 90% just done with my issues. There is about that 10 to 20% that I need to fix, and I already think I know what it is. I will talk to you about it, but I will update you again once it is fixed because I don't want to jump the gun. When I was taking the antibiotic towards the end tail of my course, which was a 10-day course, from day 7 to 10, those 4 days, my health was, God, when you feel what you're like how you're supposed to function, you will never, ever, ever want to feel anything less than that. It was just amazing. So I got a dose of that, what the full health is like. And then after, finishing the course, it's been slow recovery to bring back my microbiome, restore anything that was lost. The best thing that helped also was real barberry berry. I've been making tea with barberry, letting it steep overnight, and then I slowly just drink a little bit every day. Now, as I mentioned earlier, when you have a chronic H. pylori that had gone unnoticed for many years, it's bound to damage some other things. What I'm about to say is partially anecdotal. I've done a lot of research, and there's some research that suggests this, and then there's a lot of anecdotal people's experiences that went through the same stuff I've gone through, and they identified H. pylori, then they cured H. pylori. Then they identified the next issue that H. pylori had caused, which is small intestinal bacteria overgrowth. Again, bacteria. This is curable. So it's called SIBO. And oftentimes I've come across SIBO as a autoimmune thing. And I don't know if I've missed something. It's possible I've missed it. I was always looking at SIBO, IBS, IBD, and that didn't seem to be cure. It was putting it in the same category of autoimmune, unknown, body attacking itself, all this BS. But now that I already know what it is, and I know that it's a bacteria that could be killed, now I'm finding the appropriate content or information. So my verbiage for search has changed. And if you just search general terminology when you don't have the knowledge, what Google serves you is extremely not helpful. And then when you do know the terminology, you know exactly what you're looking for, then all of a sudden you can actually find, which is counterintuitive because you want to be able to find the right information to put you on the right direction, not the other way around. So anyway, I was able to find that SIBO, the bacterial overgrowth, it gets caused by the aftermath of H. pylori, and yet another bacteria is overgrown, and you need to kill that as well. Now, when I say my health has been 80-90% better, that's because when it's completely manageable. I do think you can probably cure this in organic ways without taking antibiotics that targets your intestines, because H. pylori antibiotic course targets your stomach, whereas now you need an antibiotic that actually goes all the way to your intestines and deploys in intestines and actually doesn't get too absorbed into the intestines and can harm and cure this bacteria. Why does this sound extremely likely for my case, and why am I going to actually go ahead and test this out and take the second course of antibiotics, which is a different set of antibiotics, is because those 7 to 10 days, the last 4 days of my H. pylori treatment, when I felt the health, the full-blown health benefits, I think, my hypothesis is that's because that same medicine, even though it wasn't targeting the intestines, was still harming that other bacteria as well in the intestines. And because of that, on the tail end of my course, I felt the 100% benefits of it. And then while H. pylori went away, this other bacteria came right back. H. pylori, first step. And if your symptoms are not 100% gone and you still have not digestive issues, you will notice that you no longer have digestive issues. You just have issues to, it's not a sexy topic, but empty your intestines, and there's blockage and something is just not functioning well. You can fast and inflammation goes down, then that can help. You can drink and eat the right things, and that can help, but overall you know that it's just not optimal and something's off. So the digestion gets fixed entirely because you no longer have low stomach acid. Right now I can digest meat just fine. I can digest just about everything just fine. But then I still have to be very, very careful because of that other bacteria in my intestines. And I can't believe that for the sake of helping somebody else, I'm airing out such private things about my health or myself. But I think it is important because too many people suffer with these issues and they just are too uncomfortable to talk about it. And ta-da! Next step, I'm going to cure SIBO. I think that's pretty much it. At this point, I'm beating a dead horse, I think, right? If you have autoimmune disease, anything that doesn't have answers, there's an answer. It's just not with your doctor. Lose that doctor, try to figure out what's wrong with you, find your health balance. You are what you eat is a powerful, powerful quote, because you truly are what you eat. Your health sucks, that's because of what you're eating. Just majority of chronic illnesses, cancer included, comes from your food. It's inflammation based. You eat the wrong thing, that causes a lot of issues. And in the Western world, we sadly do not have real food. If you're born in the United States, I realize that it's really hard to make people, unless you've grown your own food at some point in your life, it's very difficult to make people realize what I mean when I say real food. It's really hard for people to accept and understand that what they're eating is utter garbage. Your organic, grass-fed, grass-finished, whatever beef, it is not organic. It is just riddled with so much to keep it on the shelves or to keep it in the grocery stores that you no longer have the organic matter and or the benefits of it. Not to mention, these chemicals cause a bacteria to go crazy in your system. Then you have a chronic illness for the rest of your life because of the shit you ate and you didn't address it. Moral of the story, there's no real medicine in the West left. It's an industry that has failed. It has failed people. It did not fail itself. Take the matter of your health in your hands and be healthy. I can't wait to update you that my health is 100% good, not only 80 to 90% good, but my quality of life already has dramatically improved, and I would want and love the same for you.